Okay, alright, let's have a listen now. Quick listen. Okay.
Johnny had a big mouth and a really stinking song. He went and told the good folks that he could do no wrong, 'cause he wanted Sally, wanted Sally, wanted Sally Bong. Johnny's head grew so big it began to pong, 'cause he wanted Sally, wanted Sally, wanted Sally Bong. Dumb fucks goats are riled up that they began the song, 'cause they wanted Sally, wanted Sally Bong, 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 bong. Evie followed Daddy-O, took up his stinking song. Evie loved perfume pie and did the women wrong, 'cause she wanted Sally, wanted Sally, wanted Sally Bong. Evie grew a big blonde head and it began to pong, 'cause she wanted Sally, wanted Sally, wanted Sally Bong. Evie lost her soul to hell and it began to pong, 'cause she wanted Sally, wanted Sally Bong, 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 bong. Mikey followed Dunny and he began the song. Mikey
This is good.
bong, 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 bong. Beat their lynching, stop on Sally's bong. Doing why we're here right now, knowing that it's wrong. Tell us what to do, Dunny, to get one of
Right,
Sally
got
Bong.
it. Seen it. Very good. Very good, very catchy. So I'm Lord Doom for Murphy TV. Today I'm with
Andrew Golland, late life music and songmaking.
Late Life Rockstar. How about that?
That's it.
Tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, the music has come about because we started with our family during COVID. We started off doing virtual sketches online under a title called Daily Brace. And Jonas, my son, actually does a lot of music himself. He is a music man and a drummer. He's edited a whole ton of stuff, and we decided that we would keep going after COVID doing music virtually. So we tried to do it at a distance, because I live in Chicago and he lives in London. I think that my main aim with all of this stuff, including the Daily Brace, is to sort of change my direction in life and hopefully change other people's directions in life, because I found myself being pretty angry about a lot of the way things are going and the lack of concern across the board, one for another, in our societies. And that might sound big-headed and crazy, but I've decided that I need to do things that are humorous and that may be attractive to anybody, not necessarily one side, but they're going to have some sort of, a little bit of a political slant.
So tell us about Daily Brace. Was it a comedy sketch show or
Yeah, little comedy sketch show.
Satirical?
I guess satirical, part of it was. You got anything else?
Yeah, something for the education and fashion page launched by Betty Damn DeCoste Enterprises.
Over to our education secretary.
I'm Betty Dandecost. Yes, Betty. We offer here in public service. Yes, and we have an important message. Help me get the country back to the cash registers. Put your little angels in this easy-to-wear hazmat suit. They'll soon be running around the sports field and rough and tumbling with their friends in limited safety. Only $99.99 plus tax. Health coverage unavailable. Buy online from suppliers on the White House pay-to-play list. Thank you all and be very safe.
Will not work if the weather is hot, wet, or cold. If the child has previous anti-climate allergies or aversion to doing what he, she, it, or they are told. Lifetime guarantee is less than 1 hour. And shipping costs $49.99. Not available in California, New York, and Illinois.
We were doing sketches based on having plants in the White House. We had Holly Hicks, who was like Hope Hicks.
You are quite funny. Ha ha. But honestly, you are not my type. Oh, but I do like men with glasses. Yeah. We need 40 million for a special secret project. If you're so important, it'll be a drop in the bucket.
We had Amy here as the sort of tech guy, whiz guy, working in the background.
I'm gonna have to put him under surveillance. Yeah. What's that, Pugwash? Yeah, that's true. We need help here.
And Jonas played a detective, And
journalist, but crap journalist, really.
Order online, the shops are all closed. Honey.
You guys get the vote. I get to reopen the shoe stores and salons and everything. All the restaurants, cafes, for all of us. For you.
Hey, but Villa, I wanted to introduce you to the head of Gucci in Milan. I can be your advisor.
You're fake news, Harry.
We had an ongoing story going through it that in the end was very loosely based on the news. Missing aircraft carriers and COVID and berserk sort of behaviour in the White House and colouring books and...
Oh, and they painted the White House a different colour.
Oh yeah, we decided the White House needed to be painted taupe, a sort of muddy colour.
Or tan.
Yeah, we did 4 episodes of it, although we actually had enough to do 10. But we did have editorial issues. And we have a Daily Brace news sheet, which was like the front of the newspaper, and so there was absolute gibberish written in that.
Right, now tell us about I Wanna Sally Bong.
Okay, it's a year or two since we did this, but the whole point of that was, you know, why are people behaving so badly at the moment? And the answer is they want something as an easy answer. They want an easy answer to their woes, whether it's being able to pick on other people and punch down, which is a typical sort of dictator view, or an easy solution to being poor, feeling they're being manipulated. So there are like 2 reasons for this. And so Wanna Sally Bong is like, you know, what I want is either gold or I want, you know, frankincense or myrrh or something. I want this unattainable thing. And Wanna Sally Bong, I think, reflects that.
But, yeah, so have you ever played anywhere?
Me? No, I've been in choirs, I've sung songs in front of people, but I haven't really had an outlet to do that.
What sort of choirs have you been in?
Okay, I sang in a choir in Rosslyn Hill, Hampstead, probably for about, I don't know, nearly 20 years prior to going to America. We did a lot of concerts around the city, including classical music concerts. Then we'd pick things like Broadway hits or American war songs. I mean, you know, stuff from the Second World War, the sort of crazy
I take it you
stuff.
didn't get paid for this?
No. So I've not been paid. I haven't earned my living at all doing this. This is all just, let's...
That's even better, community music.
Community music, that's right. Yeah.
Would you like to be a famous rock star?
Oh, yes. Yes, I think that would be great. I probably wouldn't be able to move around quite so much as Jaggers of the world. The 80-year-old Jagger would be a stretch for me.
I'm not sure he can move that much these days.
But there's a bit of dancing in that Wanna Sally Bong video that's quite good.
Oh, we have dancing in it. Yeah,
that was quite good.
There's a rap song which was all about Don't Let the Bastards Grind You Down, about getting out and voting. That was fun and an effective little...
Give us a little bit of it.
Don't let the bastards grind you down. Those that hysterically need the rallies have poisonous hearts, no moral tallies. Their comfort in dark hatred praise feeds their egos and their rage, finds them wanting more and more, encouraging liars by the score. Their easy paths for hatred's sake, pushing all in danger's wake. Mussolini, Stalin, Hitler's action grossed vast death tolls and destruction. And now Andrew Golland, Immigrant, 2020.
So, what do you think of the Joe Biden situation?
Joe Biden's situation. Well, I think, unfortunately, they've left him too long in place, although he's been doing the job of a president, which I don't think the last guy did. But he's now really old and beginning to get flaky, and that's worrying.
Yeah, it's got the nuclear codes, yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, There's no way that Trump should have the nuclear codes, and yet he may get back in. And he's nuts, he'll do it. Biden, he's much more of a staid, humdrum, keep it all going type. And that's been successful for 4 years. However, I wish they'd found somebody else earlier. Now it's too late, and we're all rushing towards November, wondering what the heck is going to happen.
Funny how there's probably a lot of people who could do it. Sorry, yeah, there's probably a lot of people who could do it, and they're just none of them have the chance.
They're saying Hillary Clinton and Gavin Newsom will probably be running. Do you think that's a possibility?
I don't think so anymore. Yeah, Gavin Newsom would be all right. But he's a bit lazy and tends not to want to put on the tie that he should.
He looks like American Psycho as well.
I don't think he looks like American Psycho.
He does. It's all the teeth in it.
Yeah.
Have you got any good anarchist candidates of any sort? Or anarchist leanings?
I think
professors or anyone smart enough?
Alejandra Ocasio-Cortez ought to be the one. But she's now just about old enough to run for president. That would be great. But
what's the age for president? About 80 now, isn't it?
This guy, I think he's 81 now.
Who Biden?
Yeah. I mean, I have a handful of friends who are in that category who I would say, yeah, they'd be better than any of these guys, but they're that old. But it's very rare to have people getting into their 80s who can really, but I think it's an unjustifiable one reason to discard him. Everybody says, oh, we're frightened of having a VP, Kamala Harris, take over from him.
Yeah, well, Kamala Harris is I think Kamala Harris isn't very good vice president, personally.
Well, what do you think the vice president does?
I don't know. I don't really know, but obviously nothing if she's anything to go by.
They open dog shows and they don't do anything much.
Huh?
But she's actually quite good at issues and maybe okay. But people have started slamming her because the right wing won't vote for her because she's half black. If Biden popped his clogs tomorrow, I'm not sure that Kamala Harris would run. If that happened, she'd be president right now, so therefore running up to the election, she'd have a big advantage.
It would create a lot of resentment, wouldn't it? For people who just want a leader that's just based on how good they are, and not just because of the colour of their skin.
Trump ran for president largely because he despised Obama and didn't like black people. He'd got in a lot of trouble in the 80s and 90s with his father putting down black people and trying to prosecute people in landlord-tenant situations. His father was a racist, and so is he. You have what goes on in India and Pakistan. I mean, it happens within ethnic groups. It doesn't just happen between different colours.
I'm really glad things are not, as divisive as they were. And that leads me to our next song, which I want to play on the headphones.
Okay.
It's a traditional Irish song that we produced a couple of days ago.
I do like an exclusive. Okay, so that's quite an interesting song. It's very folky.
It's folky.
So where did you get the idea to do folk?
I learnt it driving in a car with my father, who was tone deaf, by the way. So learning tunes with him was quite interesting.
So is it an old song or
It's an old song. We've rearranged it. We've shifted the chorus around because it became too repetitive, and we punched up the middle. So you sit on the box of dynamite sticks, and then it all kind of starts to get raving crazy.
It's almost like a resurrection because it's just died.
Well, it is the resurrection for him, isn't it? Because he's telling his story, so he's on his way to heaven. So I like the idea of the song because it has a sense of the total struggle of building the railway across the United States and all the people that suffered and died as a result trying to do it. In fact, it was a lot of Chinese folks who died on the way, but that was the only way they could get into the United States. So that's how there's this huge population of Chinese people in San Francisco. A lot of them came from that era. I like the idea of it being frustrating as hell, tough work, like there's total exasperation. And there's exasperation in lots of ways these days, what hard work really is like and how little people get out of it.
Will you do a little bit of it?
Patsy, atsy, ori-i, patsy, atsy, ori-i, patsy, atsy, ori-i, the Great American Railway.
In 1865, banged myself more dead than alive, banged myself more dead than alive from working on the railway. And in 1866, I sat on the backs of dynamite sticks. Babbity, 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 bim, the American Railway. In 1867, I found myself halfway to heaven. I found myself halfway to heaven from working on the railway.
Patsy-Patsy-Ori-I, the Great American Railway.
You go to the 60 Ted, if you want any more, you can sing it again.
If you want any more, you can sing it again. The Great American Railway. Thank you. Free drinks over here.
Well, on a song called The L Train, romantic, silly song about the way the train affects everybody's lives in Chicago.
Is that the main train in Chicago then?
That's the main, it's like the subway here, the underground
It's called
here.
the L train. Yeah.
It's called the L Train.
It's elevated.
We got the L train,
okay.
we got your train, we got my train, we got the L train.
It's all about getting the stations wrong, getting lost, isn't it?
Getting the stations wrong, whether you're on the blue line or the red line. I mean, you know, there's another bit of politics coming in. He came up with a big copper sheet, but I mean, it sounds like this screaming of these awful things as they go around the bends at high level. Because everywhere you are in Chicago, you're kind of dwarfed by this noise of the things on these tracks above your head.
Yeah, the old train.
And you're always shouting at people to make yourself heard. Because if an L train comes past, there's no way you can speak. It's like having the underground train, but instead of it being confined to a tunnel, it's everywhere. So it'd be ploughing through here somewhere at second floor level.
Usually above the street, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's right above the road.
And they're amazing things. I'm guessing that they didn't bury things because they have a real problem with lake water and flooding and God knows what, so they couldn't do an underground. The idea is significantly for the L train to be a unifier because everybody uses it.
So that's quite a funky song as well, so look forward to finishing
We need to have
that
that ready.
So I take it you don't get too many buskers in Chicago then?
Well, there was one busker I saw at Lake Station in December who was basically had an acoustic guitar and he was going with some open strings.
There are people.
And he was really like kind of starving. He was sort of singing, he stopped and went, cancer and have a heart attack, cancer and have a heart attack, cancer and have a heart attack. Your body's dead and cold. Your body's dead and cold. He just kept going and it was kind of like, whoa, that's a bit intense.
It's a lot of contrasts in Chicago. Probably maybe more than you see here. I don't know.
It's more spread out in America.
Tell us about Chicago, because Chicago is a blue city and it's like defund the police and all this, and it's supposed to be quite bad. Tell us about life in Chicago.
Well, life in Chicago is very nice if you happen to live near the centre or in the northern suburbs. If you go south of that...
There's a but coming here.
That's right. There's a but. My wife does a lot of work for the CTA, which is the Chicago Transit Authority. There's a red line that runs all the way from the north right down to the south of Chicago. 135th Street is where they're about to extend this line. And they're trying to do it to tidy up what's going on down south because it's a wasteland. And it's a vicious place, a tough place for people to live. We do job fairs down there, trying to get people to get into the workforce. We've been quite successful, but it needs huge investment. And Chicago is a city which is pretty well bankrupt. So corruption obviously forms a huge part of what goes on in a city like Chicago. It's a brown envelope city, really. We live in the middle, and then we go out to all these different places and meet all these folks who are struggling to survive and who've been, if you like, financially penalised over the years. The black population getting mortgages and stuff like that. They've been chased out of some areas and it still goes on. And I think there's a huge amount of goodwill in Chicago to do so, but we've seen a lot of muggings and stuff go on in our area. And when Amy came recently at Christmas, you lost your backpack within about 3 hours of arriving, I think, because your sister's car was broken into.
So do you think defund the police there was not a good idea? Defund the police? Because you keep hearing this all the time.
I hear defund the police and I can't, you're not going to be able to defund the police. I mean, but the attitude is slightly different, I have to say. I mean, this whole business with guns is more upsetting than one can possibly imagine. And we've learned recently that the cameras they're supposed to turn on aren't always turned on during altercations with people they're arresting or stopping for traffic offences, and then somehow somebody ends up dead. I would guess that what we really need is a different attitude of policing where people actually get out of their cars and walk, because they just park cars around the city now to try and discourage muggings. That's just absurd. I mean, you know, I think they have a whole fleet of cars, they don't even bloody drive around it.
Look, they're all flashing the lights, looks like us. Just so we can have a break from full-time looking for parking. 15 minutes, you can stop right in front of the cops. Clark and Washington with the Christmas market.
It's like $52. It's insane.
Tell us about COVID. Did that change your political views at all? Because I think a lot of people really did.
For me, it just kind of intensified the whole idea that life ain't fair and we've got to try and make it fairer everywhere. Having been an architect all my life, generally working in large corporations, I don't want to do that anymore. I mean, it's just, you know, I've sort of moved on from that. My state of political awareness has shifted more to the left now than it was. I have tried to run in politics here before I left to go and live in America, and that was Liberal Democrats, City Council, twice, with total naivety because there was no hope of me winning against huge Conservative majorities. But I had a go, and I think everybody should have a go if they feel up to it, to actually make a change.
So, would you like to be an MP? Do you think that would change anything? Because, I mean, a lot of people think now you can vote for anyone, it's the same bloody party, and it's the same stuff, and it's corporations that are running everything.
Largely that's the case, but as I'm sort of based in Chicago, I might consider running for a local alderman's office. I certainly wouldn't run for Congress in the United States. It wouldn't suit my blood pressure.
Yeah.
I went to Neasden the other day. That was interesting. Neasden in the rain. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
That sounds like a song title.
It does. But I remember while we were at college, as architectural students, we couldn't get into exhibitions and things, you know, big trade exhibitions. And we needed to, because we needed to find out stuff, you know. So we printed up all these cards, and it said Neasden Aggregates. Bert Lancaster, managing director. And we printed them up and everybody had them, so if you wanted to go to a show, you could always palm off your card. And then we got more enthusiastic about it and thought, I wonder if we could get him through the exams. So we actually, a group of us got together and got Bert Lancaster through the intermediate exams for architecture by doing an extra paper. And then we got called in to the principal's office and he said, I know what you're doing, but you know, I mean, it's fun, but we're not going to be giving him a certificate in architecture or anything, so.
So when you're flying then, what time are you flying?
4 hours. I think about 4:15 or something. Now?
Actually home?
Oh, actually home? I'll be at 7:15 this evening, which will be like 1:15 in the morning here.
Then you're going to get the L train.
Then I'm going to take the blue line, right, from O'Hare, go right into the city and then come out on the red line to I'm hoping Amy's picking me up. She has some sort of dinner, so like an early evening dinner.
Well, I hope she likes your jacket.
Yeah, she'll like it. It's a very Sergeant Peppery thing.
I'd like to know your opinion of the Tucker Carlson Putin interview. Because they're saying that he should be arrested for the Espionage Act. And do you think there's any...
Tucker Carlson should be arrested for doing the interview?
Yeah. Hillary Clinton actually said that he should be allowed back into the country, and other people are saying he should be arrested under the Espionage Act for interviewing Putin. Do you think there's any justification for any of that?
I mean, I've not seen the interview, but I'm guessing that from Tucker Carlson going there for Putin, I mean, he worships Putin, so, you know, he's trying to find ways to excuse Putin's behavior, particularly over Ukraine. And I would guess, therefore, that he's not following, if you like, America's line on all this, because we support saving Ukraine. And Putin is a very vicious ruler of Russia who has trodden on all kinds of human rights there. And I would say Tucker Carlson needs to be, just ignored. But that won't happen. He's got this interview out, and it curries favour with a lot of the conspiracy theorists in America, which I don't like the idea of at all. I think that's really bad. But whether he should be prosecuted for it or not back in the country, I think not. I think he should be just, dealt with as normal. I mean, he got sidelined by Fox, some time ago, and clearly that was because he spews very vicious propaganda about everybody who isn't Trump.
Well, I'm going to end it there, but it's been lovely talking to you, and that was brilliant. Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming.